The desert night was cool, with the faint buzz of cicadas echoing in the distance. On the lonely stretch of Route 66, there was a dusty old roadside tavern, Earl's Place. It wasn't the kind of bar you found on tourist maps. It was dimly lit, worn down, and smelled faintly of cigarette smoke, beer, and fried food. The kind of place where regulars nursed cheap whiskey and outsiders learned fast to keep their heads down. That night, though, Earl's Place was busier than usual. The jukebox in the corner played classic rock, pool balls cracked against each other, and laughter from a table of bikers filled the air. Their gang jackets marked them clearly, the Iron Jackals. Around these parts, everyone knew them. They weren't just roughnecks, they thrived on intimidation. Folks said they'd been run out of 2 other towns for bar fights and trouble, but here, people kept their distance rather than stand up to them. Nobody expected that night would be different. The door swung open with a creak. Heads turned slightly but quickly went back to their drinks, except for the bikers. A woman walked in. She wore ripped jeans, a loose hoodie, and a ball cap pulled low. She carried herself with a quiet confidence, scanning the room not with fear, but with the calm of someone who belonged anywhere she chose to be. She found a stool at the bar and slid onto it without a word. The bartender, a wiry man in his 40s named Danny, shuffled over nervously. "What'll it be?" "Just water," the woman replied softly. "And maybe some wings if the kitchen's still open." Danny nodded. "Coming right up." She didn't announce herself. She didn't need to. This was Ronda Rousey, former UFC champion, Olympic medalist, WWE star, but unless you watched closely, you wouldn't know. She wasn't there for fame or recognition. She just wanted peace. But peace rarely lasts long in a place like Earl's Place. At the corner table, 6 bikers sat with their beers and booming laughter. They were already halfway drunk, their voices carrying across the bar. One of them, a burly man named Tank, nudged his buddy. "Well, looky there. Little Miss Lonely at the bar." His friend Razor snorted. "Doesn't look like she belongs here. Maybe we should make her feel welcome." The others chuckled. Everyone in the bar heard it. The regulars looked away, knowing trouble was brewing. Tank pushed back his chair and swaggered over. He leaned against the bar, so close that Rhonda could smell the stale beer on his breath. Well, he drawled. "What's a pretty girl like you doing, all alone in a place like this?" Rhonda didn't flinch. She sipped her water, eyes fixed on the bartender who was deliberately avoiding eye contact. "Just eating," she replied, calm as ever. Her tone wasn't rude. It wasn't friendly. It was dismissive. And for men like Tank, that was a challenge. Razor joined in, sliding onto the stool beside her. "Don't be like that, sweetheart. We're just trying to be nice." "I'm fine," Rhonda said. The bikers grinned at each other. They thrived on making people uncomfortable, and this woman wasn't playing along. One of them reached out, fingers brushing her shoulder. "Ah, come on now. Don't be shy." Before he could finish, Rhonda's hand snapped up and locked onto his wrist. She squeezed, not enough to break it, but enough that his cocky grin twisted into a wince. Her voice was low, steady. "Friendly doesn't mean disrespectful." The bar went silent. Danny froze behind the counter, torn between fear and awe. The biker yanked his hand back, embarrassed. His buddies burst out laughing, mocking him. But laughter quickly soured into anger. Razor slammed his fist on the bar. You got a smart mouth. Maybe we ought to teach you some manners. Rhonda set down her glass, turned on her stool, and faced them fully. She pulled back her hoodie, and for the first time, the light revealed her unmistakable face. The room seemed to hold its breath. Last warning, she said, eyes locked on Razor. Walk away. But the iron jackals didn't walk away. Tank lunged first, swinging a heavy punch. Rhonda ducked, hooked his arm, and slammed him against the floor in a clean judo throw. The crash echoed through the room. Before he could get up, another came charging. Rhonda spun, grabbed his jacket, and tossed him over her hip. He landed hard, clutching his ribs, gasping for breath. The others roared in outrage. Two came at her at once, fists swinging wildly. She blocked one strike, countered with a sharp elbow to the jaw, then swept the other off his feet with a leg hook. Both collapsed before they even knew what hit them. Razor, red-faced with rage, shouted, "She's just one woman. Get her!" But even as he said it, doubt flickered in his eyes. One of his men tried to back away. "Razor, man, I don't think." "Shut up!" Razor snapped, and rushed forward himself. He swung a wild right hook. Rhonda caught it midair, twisted his arm behind his back, and slammed him chest first into the bar counter. His beer bottle shattered on impact. The room erupted. The biker's tough guy aura was shattered, and the regulars, who had lived too long in fear of these men, suddenly found their courage. Cheers and laughter broke out. Someone even shouted, "Get him, girl!" Razor groaned in pain, pinned against the counter. Rhonda leaned in close, her voice low but cutting. "You think strength is about scaring people? Strength is about respect. You remember that." She released him. He stumbled, clutching his arm. His gang scrambled toward the door, dragging their wounded pride with them. The last thing Razor said before leaving was a muttered curse. But the way his eyes darted away told the truth. He was terrified. When the door slammed shut behind them, the whole bar erupted into applause. Danny finally exhaled. "Miss, I had no idea you were." "I know," Rhonda interrupted with a smirk. She tucked her hoodie back on and sat down. "Now you do." The old jukebox kicked back on, as if nothing had happened. The tension melted, replaced by laughter and chatter. An elderly woman in the corner raised her glass and said, "To the lady who reminded us what real strength looks like." Everyone joined in. Glasses clinked. Rhonda simply smiled, picked up her plate of wings, and finally took a bite. For her, this wasn't about ego or proving herself. It was about drawing a line, and showing that no one had the right to cross it. Word of the incident spread through town like wildfire. People who had lived in quiet fear of the iron jackals felt a new sense of courage. The bikers didn't return. In fact, they avoided the bar altogether. And for the regulars of Earl's Place, that night became legend. A story they would retell again and again, the night Ronda Rousey walked in alone, faced down a gang, and left them running. For the bikers, it was a nightmare they would never forget. For everyone else, it was a reminder, true strength isn't about power over others. It's about standing firm, demanding respect, and knowing your worth.